Hello all, welcome to the class of Complex Analysis, Probability and Statistical Methods 18 MAT 41. Today I'll be teaching a topic in Module 3, Probability Distributions, and the topic that I'm going to discuss is Binomial Distributions. Myself, Dr. Madhura, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, Sai Vidya Institute of Technology, Bengaluru. First, let us know the definition of a binomial distribution. Suppose P is the probability of success and Q is the probability of failure, then the probability of X successes out of N trials is given by P of X is equal to NCX, P power X, Q power N minus X. Here we denote P as the probability of success and Q as the probability of failure, and we obtain the probability of X successes out of N trials, which is obtained by the formula P of X is equal to NCX, P power X, Q power N minus X. Here P of X is known as the binomial distribution. Probability distribution when X is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. up to N is as below. So we perform N trials and X takes the value from 0 to N. There might be 0 trial, 1 trial, 2 trials, etc. up to N trials. So X denotes the number of successes and it is taking the value from 0 to N. So we now find out the probability distribution when X takes these values. So X is taking the value 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. up to N, and the respective P of X substituting X is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. in this, we get when X is 0, it is Q power N. When X is 1, it is NC1, P power 1 into Q power N minus 1. Similarly, when X is 2, it is NC2, P square Q power N minus 2, etc. up to P power N. The last term, when X is equal to N, this gives us P power N. Now, we observe that every P of X value is positive, greater than or equal to 0, and sum of all P of X will be equal to 1 using binomial expansion. So when we add up Q power N plus NC1 P into Q power N minus 1 plus NC2 P square Q power N minus 2, etc. up to P power N, the sum will be equal to 1 using the binomial expansion. So since both the condition of a probability distribution are satisfying, we conclude that P of X is a probability function. The binomial distribution given by P of X is equal to NCX, P power X, Q power N minus X is a probability function. Note, since P is the probability of success and Q is the probability of failure, we always have P plus Q is equal to 1. Probability of success plus probability of failure is always equal to 1. Since probability can at most be equal to 1, this property satisfies. Now the mean mu is given by N into P and the variance V is given by N into PQ. So the derivation is being discussed. We can observe and we can obtain the mean and variance for binomial distributions. Using the basic formulas for discrete probability distribution, we can obtain the mean and variance as N into P and N into PQ, where N is the number of trials, P is the probability of success, and Q is the probability of failure. Now we will discuss problems on binomial distribution. Let us do problems now. Problems on binomial distribution. First question. When a coin is tossed 4 times, when a coin is tossed 4 times, comma, find the probability of getting, find the probability of getting, first sub question, exactly one head, exactly one head. Second sub question, at most 3 heads. And third part of the question, at least 2 heads. So the question is, a coin is tossed 4 times and we need to find the probability of getting exactly one head, at most 3 heads, and at least 2 heads. Now let us see the solution. So first we will find out probability of getting a head in a single toss. Later, for 4 times n is equal to 4 can be considered. Because a coin is tossed 4 times, we can consider n is equal to 4. And for now, when a coin is tossed for a single time, let's find the probability of getting a head. So let us denote that by, say, small letter p. P stands for having a success. Since all the sub questions are based on getting a head, it is 1 head, 3 heads, or at least 2 heads. So all the cases are with respect to getting heads. We can assume that P stands for probability of success, which is probability of getting a head. Probability of getting a head is 1 divided by 2. So let me tell you how it is 1 divided by 2. It is number of favorable outcomes divided by number of possible outcomes. Whenever we toss a coin once, possible outcomes are head or tail. So 2 possible outcomes in the sample space. So that is why denominator is 2. Either it can be head or it can be tail. Only 2 possibilities whenever we toss a coin. So denominator is 2. Now number of favorable outcomes. Favorable outcomes means that which we are interested in. So we are interested in getting a head. So that is why 1. One particular choice we are talking about now. That is why 1 in the numerator. So 1 by 2. So this is same as writing 0.5. If probability of success is 0.5, then probability of failure is 1 minus p. So this is because we always know that p plus q is equal to 1. P plus q is equal to 1 can be considered because in the probability concept, if we consider P as the probability of success and Q is the probability of failure, then not always P plus Q will be equal to 1. So probability can at most be equal to 1. That is the reason we always try to memorize this expression P plus Q is equal to 1. And from that we can write down Q is equal to 1 minus 0.5 or 1 minus P. So Q also equal to 0.5 now. Q is also equal to 0.5. Now we know P and Q. Let's write down the value of N. By data we can write down N value is equal to 4. N is equal to 4 because a coin is tossed 4 times. So that's the reason N is equal to 4 for us. Okay. Now let us assume that X denote the number of heads. Let us assume X denotes the number of heads in N is equal to 4 trials. We are assuming X as the number of heads turning up in 4 trials. Right? Now we will write down the formula for probability of X successes out of N trials by binomial distribution. We know that the probability of X successes out of N trials is given by let us write down P of X by the binomial distribution. This is NCX P power x, Q power n minus x. Let me tell what are all these notation stands for once again. So n is the number of trials, x is the x denotes the number of heads here. This is successes, number of successes we can say. P is the probability of success and Q is the probability of failure. So this is the formula for binomial distribution. Now let us substitute the known things and write the expression. So we have n equal to 4. So 4cx, p power x, p is 0.5 power x, and q is also 0.5 in this case, 0.5 power 4 minus x. Since the base are same, in any problem if the base are same, powers can be added. So this gives us 4cx into 0.5 power x plus 4 minus x. In a product, whenever the base are same, powers are added. So plus x minus x cancel, and that was the plus point of doing this. So 4cx, and we have 0.5 whole power 4. 0.5 whole power 4. Of course, we can simplify 0.5 whole power 4 and further proceed, or you can keep it as it is also. Choice is up to you. And now I'll be keeping this expression. This is the expression for P of x. Now we will deal with the cases one by one. The first case is asked as, what is the probability of getting exactly one head? Means my number of successes is 1. Because I have assumed P as the probability of success, correct? And x represents the number of successes for n trials. And now I can take x is equal to 1 and find out probability of getting x is equal to 1 head. The first part of the question was getting exactly 1 head. So I'll just write it down. Probability of getting x is equal to 1 is 4cx into 0.5. This I can directly write it down because x is taken as 1 now. So we can write down 4c1 and 0.5 whole power 4. If you have already simplified 0.5 whole power 4, that's fine. So now using a calculator, this becomes 0.25. 0.25. So probability of getting exactly one head is 0.25. Now the second part of the question, it is probability of at most 3 heads. At most 3 heads. This first we will write down symbolically. So what is the representation for at most? So probability of getting at most 3 heads means maximum 3 heads we can have. So it should be less than or equal to 3. So what are all the possibilities that it exists? I'll repeat this once again. So probability of at most 3 heads means maximum we can have 3 heads because we are doing 4 trials. N is equal to 4 trials we are performing. In that we can have at most 3 heads or maximum 3 heads means it is probability of x less than or equal to 3. So when I say x less than or equal to 3, x can take 0 means having no head. In all the 4 trials, tail might arrive no. So that is one of the possibilities. So probability of x is equal to 0, x is equal to 1, x is equal to 2 and 3. All these probabilities should be added. So what I mean to say, probability of x is equal to 0 plus probability of x is equal to 1 plus probability of x is equal to 2 plus probability of x is equal to 3. So we need to substitute this in previous expression for P of x, where we have substituted probability of success, failure and n value, n is equal to 4. All that we have substituted and got an expression for P of x, no? So there we can substitute x is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 and get the answer. So that gives us probability of x less than or equal to 3, at most 3 heads is equal to, when I say probability of x is equal to 0, that's the first term, no? So in place of x put 0, so 4c0, 0.5 whole power 4, 4c0, 0.5 whole power 4 plus 4c1, 0.5 whole power 4 plus 4c2, 0.5 whole power 4 and the last term will be 4c3, 0.5 whole power 4. Of course, you can take 0.5 whole power 4 outside and directly conclude the answer. So this is probability of x less than or equal to 3. Probability of x less than or equal to 3. You can use a calculator to obtain 4C1, 4C2, 4C3, or directly the entire product you can obtain. And the answer here is 0.9375. 0.9375. We're trying to maintain our usual consistency of 4 decimal places for numericals. So it is 0.9375. Now the third and the last case, last part of the question is to obtain the probability of getting at least 2 heads. Probability of getting at least 2 heads. So this symbolically can be written as x greater than or equal to 2. At least means minimum 2 heads has to be arriving. So greater than or equal to 2. So what are the possibilities? It can be probability of x is equal to 2, greater than or equal to 2 it is. So inclusive of 2 I have to write down, and p of 3 and p of 4. So why are we stopping at p of 4 only? We have maximum x can take up to n. So remember, whenever we write down a formula for binomial expansion, remember the value of x here. So x can take always values from 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. up to n. And here n is equal to 4. Here in this problem, n is equal to 4. So x can take 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the only possibilities. So that is the reason probability of at least 2 heads means probability of x greater than or equal to 2. Greater than or equal to 2 means 2, 3 and 4 only, right? So when we substitute all the values, this can be substituted as 4C2 0.5 power 4 plus 4C3 0.5 power 4 plus 4C4 0.5 power 4. So using a calculator, this simplifies to 0.6875. 0.6875. So remember, probability value lies between 0 to 1. So all these values, when you evaluate, you can just verify for yourself that the values are lying between 0 to 1 only. Probability can at most take the value 1. So this was a simple problem on binomial distribution. Let's take up the next one. Let's see the second problem now. The probability that a person aged 60 years will live up to 70 is 0.65. What is the probability that out of 10 persons, now aged 60, first case exactly 9, second case at the most 9, and third case at least 7, will live up to the age of 70 years. Will live up to the age of 70 years. So the question says something like this. The probability that a person aged 60 years will live up to 70. So anybody who is age 60 is going to live up to 70 years, and the probability of that chances is 65% or 0.65. What is the probability that out of 10 persons, means we are considering only for a sample n is equal to 10. So out of 10 persons who is now age 60, with these conditions we have to find out they will live up to the age of 70 years. For only those 10 persons, we are trying to find out what is the probability that exactly 9 people will live, at most 9 people will live, at least 7 people will live up to the age of 70 years. So that's the analyzation of the data for us. So from the question, we will analyze and write down what are P, Q and N. So let X be the number of persons. Let X denote the number of persons aged 60 years, living up to 70 years. So we are assuming X as the number of persons who is now age 60 years and living up to 70 years. And for this variate, X denotes the variate for us. By data, we can write down P is equal to 0.65. P stands for the probability of success. So here they are talking about the success as number of persons aged up to 60 living up to 70 is given as 0.65. That's a probability given for us. So from the data, probability of success is given. Means a person who is now age 60 living up to 70 is being given for us. Its probability is mentioned for us. That is 0.65 for us. So if we know 0.65, then we can easily find out Q, no? So Q will be 1 minus P. So this gives 1 minus 0.65. So Q value is equal to 0.35. So now I know P, now I know Q. And from the data we can write down N. N is given as 10. We are considering a sample of 10 persons and we are trying to do the problem. So let us consider the expression for binomial distribution. So P of X is given by NCX P power X Q power N minus X. So let us substitute all the known values. N is 10. So 10CX. P is 0.65 power X and Q is given as 0.35 power 10 minus X. So this is the expression for binomial distribution for the given data of N, P and Q. Now let us discuss the cases one by one. First case is exactly probability of exactly 9 persons. Exactly 9 persons. So this is equal to probability of X is equal to 9. So we substitute X is equal to 9 in the previous expression, the binomial distribution what we wrote. That gives 10C9 0.65 power 9 and then 0.35 power 10 minus 9. Wherever X is there, we are taking exactly X is equal to 9. So power 10 minus 9 gives us power 1. So we can just use a calculator and give the answer for this. The answer here is 0.0725. So every time I have rounded off my answers to 4 decimal places. Now we will move on to the second case. The second case is probability of at most 9. At most 9. So symbolically this is represented as probability of at most 9 means maximum 9. So this becomes X less than or equal to 9. But when I want to perform X less than or equal to 9 directly, it becomes very lengthy or tedious, no? X less than or equal to 9 means X can take 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. up to 9. So P of 0 plus P of 1 plus P of 2, etc. up to P of 9 becomes very lengthy. So we can use the alternate way of it by writing down the negation of this expression. So negation of this expression is nothing but 1 minus probability of X greater than 9. So let me tell you how is this. We have probability of success. This if I assume as probability of success, I want to know the negation of it, which will be 1 minus q form. So here it is x less than or equal to 9 means the negation of this will be probability of x greater than 9, which should be subtracted from 1. This should be subtracted from 1. So that is why we wrote 1 minus probability of x greater than 9. And when it comes to probability of x greater than 9, here greater than 9 means it is only up to 10. Because n is equal to 10, we have to apply probability of x greater than 9 means it should be only x is equal to 10. So whenever we write down this formula here, so we can write down x taking the value, x takes from 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. up to n, and here n is equal to 10. So this becomes easy for us now to understand and write it down as 1 minus probability of x greater than 9 means it should be x is equal to 10. And now the simplification is easier. So this is 1 minus p of 10. P of 10 means substituting x is equal to 10 in the binomial distribution. So we get 10c10 0.65 whole power 10 into 0.35 whole power 10 minus 10. 10 minus 10 is 0. Anything raised to power 0 is 1. So you can perform, of course here you can take 10c10, no? Wherever x is there, we are substituting x as 10. So here also we can take x is equal to 10. Right, now that gives us the answer 0.9865. 0.9865. So this was second case for us. Now probability of the third case we have to work out. It is probability of getting at least 7 people who is age 60 living up to the age of 70 years. So at least is symbolically represented as greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to. So let us work out the third case now. Probability of at least 7. This is same as writing symbolically x greater than or equal to 7. Now instead of negation part, direct part will be easy, no? Greater than or equal to 7 means 7, 8, 9, 10. Probability of 7, probability of 8, probability of 9 and 10. All these has to be summed up. If you try to write down negation of this 1 minus probability of x less than 7, you have to do it from 0 to 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of course, compared to that, direct method itself will be easy instead of negating and writing it down. So we will write it down as p of 7 plus p of 8 plus p of 9 plus p of 10. So why are we stopping at 10? Because x take the value only from 0 to 10. N is equal to 10 here. So this gives us substitution step 10c7 0.65 whole power 7 0.65 whole power 7 into 0.35 whole power 10 minus 7, which is equal to 3. Similarly, next term is 10c8 0.65 whole power 8 into 0.35 whole power 10 minus 8, which is 2. And similarly 10c9 0.65 whole power 9, I'm writing third term now, into 0.35 whole power 10 minus 9, which is equal to 1. Last term 10c10 0.65 whole power 10 into 0.35 whole power 0, 10 minus 10. So we can just simplify using a calculator, and this leads to the answer 0.5139. 0.5139. So this was another problem related to binomial distribution, wherein a person who is already aged up to 60 years, and that person, if he is living up to 70 years, we wanted to find out the probability of happening that with all these subcases. So exactly 9, at the most 9, at least 7. All the three cases we discussed. Let's see the third problem now. In sampling a large number of parts, manufactured by a company, comma, the mean number of defectives in samples of 20 is 2. Out of 1,000 such samples, how many would be expected to contain at least 3 defective parts. So the question is something like this. It says that in a sample of large number of parts manufactured by a company, the mean number of defectives, in a samples of 20 is 2. So mean is given as 2. We don't have the question in the direct form. The probability of success or the failure is not given to us directly. So it is mentioned with the mean number of defectives in the sample. And we are taking a sample of 20. Means n is equal to 20 for us. And we need to find out how many would be expected to contain at least 3 defective parts. So only one case to discuss, which is at least 3. At least 3 means greater than or equal to 3. But we need to find that for 1,000 such samples. 1,000 such samples, we are going to find out how many would be expected to contain at least 3 defective parts. So let's do the solution now. So by data we can write down mu is given for us. Mu is 2. And for a binomial distribution, we know that for a binomial distribution, we know that mu is equal to n into p. So n into p is given as 2. But n is the number of samples in this data, which is 20. So this gives us 20p is equal to 2, or p value is equal to 2 by 20, which is 0.1. So once I know p, I can write down q, then q will be 1 minus p. We always know p plus q is equal to 1. So q can be written as 1 minus p, which gives us 1 minus 0.1. And hence the q value is 0.9. So now we know all the required data to apply the binomial distribution. So we know n, we know q, and we know p. With all these known values, we can consider the expression for binomial distribution, the probability of having x successes. And before that, I can consider or call x denoting the defective part. So let us denote x as the defective part. Now let us consider the expression for binomial distribution. So we have P of x given by NCX P power x Q power n minus x. And here x takes the value from 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. up to n. And n value here is 20 because we are considering a sample of 20. So n is equal to 20 in this case. So now we can substitute all the known values. So P of x will be now equal to n is 20. So 20 Cx P power x. P is 0.1 power x. Q is 0.9 power 20 minus x. Substituting all the known values. Therefore, we have to find out probability of at least 3 defective parts. There's only one case to discuss here. Probability of getting at least 3 defective parts. And this is symbolically equal to probability of x greater than or equal to 3. At least 3 means minimum 3. So greater than or equal to 3 means P of 3 plus P of 4 plus P of 5 etc. up to P of 20. Because x takes the value until 20 until the value of n. So P of 3, 4, 5 etc. up to 20 we have to do, which becomes very lengthy. So we can use the negation of this. So 1 minus probability of x less than 3. So this is equal to 1 minus probability of x less than 3 means P of 0 plus P of 1 plus P of 2. Means probability of 0 means no defective part, 1 defective part and 2 defective parts. So like that we are trying to consider. So let us substitute all the values. So this gives us 1 minus P of 0. So we will put x is equal to 0. This gives 20 C0, 0.1 power 0 and then 0.9 power 20 minus 0. 20 minus 0 is just 20. And the next term would be 20 C1, 0.1 power x is equal to 1. So 0.1 power 1 and then 0.9 power 19. Similarly, the last term 20 C2, 0.1 power 2 and then 0.9 power 18, 20 minus 2. So this on simplification gives us 0.323. 0.323. And of course, that's not the end of the solution for us. We are not just finding probability of getting at least 3 defectives, at least 3 defective parts. We have to find out in 1000 such samples. Okay. So in order to do with 1000 such samples, we'll be multiplying the answer with 1000. So thus the number of defectives in 1000 such samples is given by 1000 into 0.323. So this will be 323. So 323 are the total number of defectives in 1000 such samples. So that's how the solution can be understood. Now, in a quiz contest of answering yes or no, what is the probability of guessing? What is the probability of guessing at least 6 answers correctly, at least 6 answers correctly out of 10 questions asked. Out of 10 questions asked. Also, find the probability of the same. Find the probability of the same if there are 4 options. If there are 4 options for a correct answer. So there are 2 parts of the problem to understand for us. Let us try to analyze the question first. So there is a quiz contest. The answer might be having only the options yes or no. Then what is the probability of getting at least 6 answers correctly out of 10 questions asked? That is one case for us, wherein only 2 choices for the answers are there. And we need to find out the probability of the same, means probability of guessing at least 6 answers once again. Out of 10 questions asked, we have to find out. But there are 4 options for a correct answer. So there are 2 cases to work out in the solution. One is, each case, of course, probability of success and the failure changes. But n remains the same because n is equal to 10 questions being asked for us, no? So n is equal to 10 remains the same in both the cases. But the probability of guessing the correct answer changes in both the cases. So probability of success changes means obviously failure changes. So P and Q changes in each case. So let's see one by one. So let us denote firstly X as the correct answer. Let us denote X as the correct answer. Case 1. In case 1, we have 2 choices. Either the answer can be yes or no. So what is the probability of getting a correct answer? Probability of getting a correct answer will be 1 by 2. There are only 2 choices, possible outcomes. All possible outcomes is 2 only, yes or no. So that is why denominator is 2. The numerator is 1 because we are looking forward for a correct answer. We are looking forward for a correct answer out of the 2 choices. So number of favorable outcomes divided by number of possible outcomes. Using the basic definition of probability, we are able to write down p value. So similarly, Q can be written as 1 minus P. So this is also equal to 1 by 2. And N is equal to 10 in this case. Of course, in the second case also the same thing. So let us substitute the values now. So this gives us, in the binomial distribution, we are substituting P of X is equal to NCX, P power X, Q power N minus X. So substituting all the known notations, N is 10, so 10Cx, P is half, so half power X into Q is also half power, N is 10 minus X. So again, when the base are same, powers can be added. So we will rewrite the expression for P of X. It is 10Cx into 0.5 power 10. So therefore, P of X can be written as 10Cx into 0.5, 1 by 2 is 0.5 power 10. Of course, this is a very small value. Instead of writing down that small value, we will retain it as it is for time being. So 0.5 whole power 10 into 10Cx. Now, what is the aim to find out? Probability of X greater than or equal to 6. The question says that You have to answer at least 6 answers. Probability of guessing at least 6 answers has to be found out. So probability of guessing at least 6 answers. At least 6 can be represented as greater than or equal to 6. So whether it is direct or negation, it is one and the same. So we have to actually substitute P of 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Because n is equal to 10, we have to substitute P of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And in each one of these, while substituting, you can take care to take 0.5 whole power 10 common and substitute now. So P of 6 will be 10C6 plus P of 7 means 10C7 plus 10C8 plus 10C9 and 10C10. So this on simplifying gives us the answer as 0.377. 0.377. So this was case 1 for us. Case 1 had 2 choices in the answer, either yes or no. Now what is case 2 then? Case 2 is we have to find the probability of getting at least 6 answers out of 10 only. But we have to have 4 options. We are having 4 options for a correct answer. Means while writing down the probability of success, it changes. There are 4 answers, A, B, C, D. So denominator will be 4. Number of possible outcomes will be 4 for us. Favorable outcome will be 1. So having a success P is equal to 1 by 4 will be the case in that. So case 2, since there are 4 options, for a correct answer, P will be, probability of success will be 1 divided by 4. We are looking forward for a correct answer, one single answer. So that is why 1 in the numerator, favorable outcomes. Possible outcomes is 4 because there are 4 different options. So P is equal to 1 by 4. With P equal to 1 by 4, Q will be 1 minus 1 by 4, which will be 3 by 4. 3 by 4. And N remains the same in this case also. There are 10 questions to be answered. So N is equal to 10 only. So now we know P, now we know Q, and we know N. So we can substitute in the binomial distribution. Since we have already written the formula, I can directly substitute in the formula. So that gives me 10 CX, NCX, P power X, 1 by 4 whole power X into Q power 3 by 4 power 10 minus X, N minus X. So this will be the expression, right? And now, if you want, you can simplify and further write it down. This becomes 1 power x is 1 itself, 1 raised to any number. And we have 4 power x in the denominator. Here 4 power 10 minus x. So when the base are same in a product in a denominator, powers can be added. So that can be considered and read it in the expression for f of x. Sorry, read it in the expression for p of x. So P of x can be now written as 10Cx 1 divided by 4 power 10, 1 divided by 4 power 10 into, here I can split the numerator, 3 power 10 minus x divided by 4 power 10 minus x. So that here 4 power 10, 4 power 10 minus x we can combine. Of course this is 4 power, just a minute. This should have been 4 power x. 10Cx, 4 power x in the denominator. Sorry, I did a mistake. And this becomes 3 power 10 minus x divided by 4 power 10 minus x. So that here in the product base our same powers are added. X get cancelled. So we get expression for P of x as 10Cx into 1 divided by 4 power 10 into 3 power 10 minus x. 3 power 10 minus x. So therefore, what we have to find out remains the same. Probability of x greater than or equal to 6 is the thing what we have to find out now. I'll just show it to you. You have to find the probability of the same. Of the same means probability of getting at least 6 answers out of 10. So x greater than or equal to 6 itself you have to find out. So this becomes probability of 6, 7, 8, 9 up to 10. So we will substitute the values by taking 1 by 4 power 10 common can be taken now for convenient. This is a constant common for every term. Since it is a very small value, we will not write it down the constant value. Instead, we will evaluate the entire expression, then divide by 4 power 10. That will be easy and convenient to get a specific answer correctly. So now x should be taken 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this becomes 10c6, 3 power 10 minus 6. 10 minus 6 is 4. Then 10c7, 3 power 10 minus 7 is 3. Plus 10c8, 3 power, these are all product in the middle. So into 3 power 2. 10c8. So x is 8 means 10 minus 8 will be 2. Plus 2 more terms. So 10c9 into 3 power 1 plus last term 10c10 into 3 power 0. 10c10 into 3 power 0. So this again we can simplify using a calculator. I can obtain the answer at 0.0197. Up to 4 decimals I have taken care to round off my answers. So here this problem we saw the difference that probabilities were different in each of the cases. Right, for the same data, that is to find out probability of guessing at least 6 answers to be correct out of n equal to 10 such questions, we had to have different way of answering. That is, one is yes or no option, the other case having 4 options for a correct answer. Fifth problem. An airline knows that 5% of the people making reservations on a certain flight will not turn up. Consequently, their policy is to sell 52 tickets for a flight that can only hold 50 people. What is the probability that there will be a seat for every passenger who turns up? There will be a seat for every passenger who turns up. What is the probability that there will be a seat for every passenger who turns up? So let us first analyze the given data. So an airline knows that 5% of the people making reservations on a certain flight will not turn up. So let us firstly assume X denoting the number of passengers who will not turn up. So an airline is very much sure about 5% of the people who never turn up for a flight, though they have booked the tickets. But still their policy is always to sell 52 tickets. And it is very important to note that the flight can hold only 50 people. So though the flight can hold 50 people, they are always sure to have a policy to sell 52 tickets. Means they are very much sure that two or more than two people will not turn up. And that is what is the probability, what we have to find out. So what is the probability that there will be a seat for every passenger who turns up? So when can there be a seat for every passenger who turns up? Only when two or more people do not turn up. Though after booking the ticket, they do not turn up, then there will be surely a seat for every passenger. And what is the probability of getting a seat? We have to find out in such case. So let us analyze the data by assuming X as number of passengers who will not turn up. So let us assume X as the number of passengers. Let X denote the number of passengers who will not turn up. Who will not turn up. Now, the probability P, the probability P that a passenger will not turn up is P is equal to 5%. That was mentioned in the question for us, no? Airline knows that 5% of the people making reservations on a certain flight will not turn up. So that itself we are assuming as a success. We've already denoted X as the number of passengers who will not turn up. Taking that into consideration only, P, the probability of success is also written as 5% from the data. So P is equal to 5% is 5 divided by 100. So which is equal to 0.05. 0.05. Hence Q also can be written so P is equal to 0.05. Hence Q also can be written as 1 minus P. Q is 1 minus P. So 1 minus 0.05 and hence Q is equal to 0.95. 0.95. Now what is N? N is the number of passengers that they are booking the tickets for. So here N is also mentioned for us. N is 52. Now what we have to find out? We have to find out that whenever we have to find out, it's put up here, no? So find the probability that there will be a seat for every passenger who turns up. So first let us write down the formula for binomial distribution. So P of X is given by NCX P power X Q power N minus X, substituting all the known things. So this is 52CX into P power X. P is 0.05 power X and Q is 0.95 power N minus X. N is 52. So 52 minus X. Now, a seat is assured for every passenger. A seat is assured for every passenger who turns up if the number of passengers who fail to turn up is more than or equal to 2. If it is more than or equal to 2, that is, we have to find probability of x greater than or equal to 2. So we have already denoted x as the number of passengers who will not turn up. So if number of passengers who do not turn up is greater than or equal to 2, then there will be a seat for every passenger who turn up. And then we will be able to find out the probability of such case. So in order to find this, let us write down probability of x greater than or equal to 2 can be now obtained. When x is greater than or equal to 2, it is to be p of 2, p of 3, 4, etc. up to p of 52, because n is 52, which becomes obviously very difficult to find out. So we will be negating this expression and writing it down as 1 minus p of x less than 2. So this will be 1 minus p of x less than 2 means p of 0 and p of 1. Only two terms to add up. So let us add up these two and subtract from 1. So p of 0 will be substituting x is equal to 0 in the binomial distribution what we wrote. 52c0, x is 0 no. So 52c0 0.05 whole power x is 0 in this case into 0.95 whole power 52 minus 0. Plus 52c1 0.05 whole power 1 into 0.95 whole power 51. So this is to be subtracted from 1, and when we perform this in using a calculator, our answer is 0.7405. Rounding off the answer to 4 decimal places. Thus, the probability that a seat is available, for every passenger is 0.7405. So that's how we see a problem based on airline problem wherein question was in a different manner. We had to guess the probability of success failure, and we had to assume the data that we have to find probability of x greater than or equal to 2 from the last sentence. Okay, hope you have understood this problem. Let us see one last problem on binomial distribution. 5 dice were thrown. 96 times, and the number of times an odd number actually turned out in the experiment is given. Fit a binomial distribution to this data to this data and calculate the expected frequencies. So first let us analyze the given question. So 5 dice were thrown 96 times, and the number of times an odd number actually turned out in the experiment is given for us. I need to still write on the table. So we'll frame a table like this, and in the table it is given for us from the data. This is number of dice showing 1 or 3 or 5 odd number occurring on a dice, and the observed frequencies are given for us. Observed frequency. So number of dice showing 1 or 3 or 5 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the observed frequencies are 1, 10, 24, 35, 18, and 8. Let us analyze the given data. This is the tabular column given for us. Now the meaning of number of dice showing 1 or 3 or 5 means, so no dice out of 5 dice thrown 96 times, no. So suppose no dice is showing 1 or 3 or 5 is happening one time. One of the dice is showing 1 or 3 or 5 is 10 times. 2 dice out of the 5 dice that are thrown, 2 dice are showing 1 or 3 or 5 is 24 times. Observed frequencies they are. So 3 dice, 3 of the dice out of 5 are showing 1 or 3 or 5. Number on the top that are seen as 1 or 3 or 5 is 35 times. Similarly, 4 dice are showing 1 or 3 or 5 is 18 times, and all the 5 dice showing 1 or 3 or 5 is 88 times. 8 times. So that is the given analyzation for us. Okay. Now these are the observed frequencies. We are asked to find the expected frequencies after fitting a binomial distribution for this data. So let us manually find out the values of P, Q, and N. Right? N is equal to 5 because 5 dice are thrown. Let us find out by definition of probability function. What is the probability of getting a success? Means getting a die showing 1 or 3 or 5 on the dice, and then finding out P, we can find out Q also. Fit the values P, Q, and N into the data, into the binomial distribution, formula for binomial distribution. Then we will be able to obtain the expected frequencies. So let us do that one by one. So very firstly, in the solution, we can just first write down about P. So P stands for probability of getting 1 or 3 or 5. On the dice, probability of getting 1 or 3 or 5 for a single dice that we'll always think about. Then n equal to 5 will take care of throwing 5 times. Okay. So this gives us P is equal to 3 divided by 6. So let me tell you how it is 3 divided by 6. It's 3 by 6 because we are seeing that, which is 1 by 2. Okay, we are seeing that there are 6 possible outcomes whenever we throw a die. So whenever we throw a die, that die can show us the face 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 possible outcomes. So denominator is 6. Now number of favorable outcomes for the numerator should be 3 because it is probability of getting 1 or 3 or 5. So we are talking about 3 choices, either 1 or 3 or 5. Since we are talking about 3 choices, numerator is 3. Means we are interested, favorable in 3 cases, and possible outcomes is 6 for a die. So 3 by 6 gives us 1 by 2. So P is equal to 1 by 2. So Q will be 1 minus P, and that gives us 1 minus 1 by 2, which is 1 by 2 again. 1 by 2 again. And here what is the value of n? N is 5 because there are 5 dice thrown. Now we will fit this into the binomial distribution by assuming x as number of times an odd number turning out. Because we are seeing that number of dice showing 1 or 3 or 5 means they are all odd number turning out, no? So that is the reason let us assume x as the number of times an odd number is turning out. An odd number turning out. Therefore, P of x will be equal to NCX P power x Q power n minus x. So P of x will be equal to n equal to 5. So 5CX. P is 1 by 2 whole power x. Q is also 1 by 2 whole power 5 minus x. And this again simplifies to, since the base are same, 1 by 2 whole power x whole power 5 minus x. Powers are added. So x and minus x get cancelled. 1 by 2 power 5 remains. 1 divided by 2 power 5 into 5CX. This is the binomial probability distribution function for us. This is the binomial probability distribution function. Which was the first part of the problem asked for us in the question, no? Now, in order to find out the expected frequencies, it is given from the data that 5 dice were thrown 96 times. From the data, it is known that these 5 dice, whatever we have, is thrown 96 times. So, expected frequencies can be obtained if we multiply the binomial distribution P of x by 96. This should be multiplied by 96. So then only for x is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can find out the expected frequencies. So we'll just mention about the same thing now. Since 5 dice is thrown 96 times, expected frequencies are obtained from the expression 96 into P of x. Let us denote this by say f of x. Another notation for frequencies, no? So let us denote it by free f of x conveniently. So let us rewrite f of x now. Rewrite f of x. So f of x will be 96 into P of x. P of x we have already written the binomial probability distribution function, no? So we will multiply by that and rewrite. So this gives us f of x is equal to 96 into P of x. So I am substituting P of x now, which is 5CX into 1 divided by 2 power 5. So simplifying 1 by 2 power 5 into 96, we can write it down. It is 3, no? So f of x is equal to 3 into 5CX. A simplified expression for f of x, which will help us to find out the expected frequencies. Here, x takes the value from 0 to n, and n is equal to 5. We have 5 dice thrown 96 times. Now, this is the expression we have for f of x. With this, we can find out f of 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. And that gives the expected frequencies in all the cases. So, this gives f of 0. X is equal to 0 we are putting. So, this is 3 into 5C0 which gives us 3. Similarly, f of 1 I can find out 3 into 5c1. 5c1 is 5. So 5 into 3, this will be 15. Similarly, f of 2 we can find out 3 into 5c2, which will be 3 into 10, 30. Now similarly, I can find out f of 3. f of 3 is 3 into 5c3, and that gives us the value 30. f of 4 is 3 into 5c4, which is 15. And lastly, f of 5, because x takes the value from 0 to 5 only. So this gives 3 into 5c5, which is 3. And hence we can conclude the expected frequencies, expected or the theoretical frequencies, both are one and the same. Theoretical frequencies are respectively 3, 15, 30, 30, 15, 3. And you can try summing up all these frequencies. It is equal to 96. So when you sum up all these frequencies, it has to be equal to 96, because all these 5 dice thrown together, that is 96 times they were thrown. And here also in the observed frequencies, when you sum up all these, it is obviously equal to 96. 1 plus 10 plus 24, 35, 18 and 8 is summing up to 96 only. So 5 dice were thrown 96, and these were the observed frequencies given, right? Means 1 or 3 or 5 on all the 5 dice were not at all seen as one time. Similarly, like that we had already analyzed the data, no? So now like that, the expected or the theoretical frequencies are respectively 3, 15, 30, 30, 15 and 3. So this was a different problem where we had to fit the binomial distribution for the given data and hence obtain the expected or the theoretical frequencies. So hope these different varieties of problems on binomial distribution were helpful for all of you. Thank you for watching.